PoE has come a long way since being developed in Chris's garage with Jonathan. Hell, that was 11 years ago. You've seen the game change a lot if you've played the game for 11 years. A lot's changed and will continue to change. Just like the addition of console cross-platform and controller and couch co-op support, it will change everything that we know about PoE.
Come on, you piece of junk. It's Hawg, baby.
How about y'all? You got Hawg. Thanks for stopping by. So before you click off and give me a thumbs down and unsubscribe and hate me, just give me a minute and let me paint the picture for you. Let me cook. This ain't an opinion stance. I'm not fixing to sit here and tell you console's bad and all that. I just want to paint a picture for you because maybe y'all hadn't been through a evolution of your franchise before, but I have. So it's a good way to kind of maybe provide a little insight and tell some of y'all that are freaking out, you worry too much. Everything will be fine.
What are you worried about?
No, the television, the newspapers, all the shit's out there.
What are you worried about?
You worry too much. Everything is beautiful. There's nothing to worry about.
PoE 2's coming out. We all know that. And it's 2024. So, of course, everything's going to change. And there's some things that have to change with Path to Exile, the franchise, for it to stay relevant and continue to be groundbreaking and do all the things that Path to Exile is known to do. So a couple things must happen. It must meet 2024 standards. Guess what? That means providing a lot of the things that Diablo 4 provided. And I hate to bring Diablo 4. That's a lie. I love bringing Diablo 4 into conversations like this. Here's the deal with Diablo 4. It blew up. And there's tons of people like me that just got out of the burn unit. Head to toe, third-degree burns. So we came to PoE. The hospital, the burn unit of PoE, where we soothe everything away with huge hits of dopamine. Who wouldn't want to be here? But it also creates a problem. It brings a lot of attention on your showcase, on your franchise that hadn't been there before. So that puts a lot of pressure on the devs, puts a lot of pressure on the company executives, puts a lot of pressure on the existing player base, because now I saw it with WoW a lot too when I went and started playing WoW. You know, while they're great to new players, some people don't want to see a whole bunch of influx of new players because people are conditioned to know or think that new players equals change. And sometimes, unfortunately, that is the case. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with PoE, PoE 2, but it has happened with a lot of games. We can see it over in Diablo 4. The more that you get rid of or do things to drive away your veteran player base, the more the game fundamentally changes. So that's going to be a lot of people's concern. However they choose to show that, whether it's in the form of not liking updates, or if it's in the form of not wanting cross-platform or not wanting console, whatever excuse, for lack of a better word, whatever excuse they can come up with or complaint they can come up with, is what's going to happen. If you don't include cross-platform and couch co-op and things like that in your new game, then you've already missed a mark there for some people. The reality is that GGG is now owned by a big giant, if you will, corporation. I reported on that last month. It's not a positive or negative. That's a fact. So you now have that power. You have more money because of that. You have more attention on you because of the failure of Diablo 4. And look, I know some of y'all are going to go in the comments and say Diablo 4 was not a failure. Here's the cold hard reality. If you sell 9 million copies, I seen somebody on Reddit the other day flaunting how badass the game was now because there were like 25,000 people that were playing the game. So if you sold 9 million copies and there are 25,000 active players, that's not a success. That is a huge, massive L. So even if you were to inflate those numbers by 500,000, it's still a massive L. No matter what copium you want to huff, that's what it is. So now you've got an opportunity as a business, as a competitor, to try to lap up all those players and bring them to your game. It's a business. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Just like Metallica way back in the day when they were an underground band that was tape traded. And then by Ride the Lightning album, they were big. And those fans that were there through the tape trading days, they left, called them sellouts. Well, fast forward to Justice album, and they were like the best metal band at that time. So, are you going to piss some people off and leave? Yeah. Are things going to change? Yeah. To sit here and say things aren't going to change is just, it's delulu, to be real with you. I really like that word. I'm going to start using it a lot. So, all that said, it boils down to they want to appeal the game to a larger audience. And Jonathan's already said that. So all of these things are going to happen. You're going to have to give it console support. You're going to have to give it couch co-op. You're going to have to give it badass controller support and WASD movement and all this, regardless of whether you like it or not. You have to provide that in a game that's competing with major AAA ARPG releases and that markets itself as a true play your own way game. Now, got that all on the table. Everybody understands. You can't deny those things. You have to meet that. Okay? If you want to compete. Just like fishing. You want to fish in a tournament, you better have live scope. Sure, you could go out there and get lucky and win on a topwater day where there's no live scope. But some days you're going to have that live. Majority of the time, you're going to have that live scope because everybody else has live scope. So if everybody else has console and cross-plat and all this, you better have the same damn thing, okay? And so now here's some realities of what we're going to see, why this is going to change everything, okay? Get to the point, Hawg. So look, from a PC player, I'm not saying from me, I'm saying just a generic PC player, you could have the opinion, and some do, that yes, console can influence negative changes in the eyes of a PC player. As a console player, you could say, yes, PC can influence negative changes on the game. Depends on which side you're sitting. You know how many times I've heard console players play PoE 1 that say, man, I wish we could play with y'all and the economy would be cool. I wish we could have the same access y'all have. So PoE 2 doing this is an effort to bring the community together because right now you already have a fractured community. You have a PoE PC community and you have a PoE console community. Why not bring them together with the new game? It only makes sense. That's inevitable. So if you're complaining about that, it's a null point. It's silly. And you know that Hawg likes to complain or likes to be honest or be outspoken about things I see, but there's no reason to complain about that. I would complain more because the community was fractured. You know how many times I put out stuff for PoE and guys in my community have said, man, I'm a console player. It's not the same. That sucks. Plain and simple. The other reality is it's very difficult to have a successful game with that kind of split console PC community. Because what's going to happen is you have all the PC guys that love the game and the console guys have a struggle with it. And they all tell everybody, well, just wait till PoE 2 comes out. So now you've already set this precedent that PoE 2 is going to have all of this stuff. It's going to be the perfect mesh of everything. It's going to be the ultimate Diablo 4 killer, and everybody's going to be playing it. So that's the expectation and the reality that the dev team has to live up to now. It's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, to be honest with you. But do we trust our dev team? I do. And I came from an area where I didn't really trust the dev team. I trust these guys are passionate. You can see it. When Mark looks at you and says he gives a shit, I think he does. I think Jonathan, I know a lot of people don't say Jonathan's in charge of PoE 2. Y'all, Jonathan and Mark are good buddies. They always talk about each other. They bounce ideas off of each other. If y'all don't think Jonathan's going over to Mark and getting his input on PoE 2 and Mark's bouncing ideas off of Jonathan, like, come on. You know they are. They're buddies. They've been doing this a long time together. You can tell how they talk to each other. They're kind of like brothers, you know. I almost thought they were brothers, to be honest with you. But that's the big thing. Do you trust your dev team? If you trust your dev team, then just let them cook, man. Just let them cook. I think the dev team is honest. You might not. I personally think they're fine. I think that they're going to put multiple things out there to appease everybody the best way they can, because the last reality is anytime you have a sequel to a game, you are going to fracture the community in some percentage. And it might be a 99-1. It might be a 50-50. We saw it with Diablo 2. Diablo 2 came out. Diablo 3 was a different game. Now, granted, I enjoyed it. A lot of Diablo 2 guys, they didn't like it. They hated it, would never go back. Same thing we saw with D4. A lot of the guys played D4, hated it, won't go back. That's a fracture in the community. It's very evident from D4 side. You got guys that think it's a good game. You got guys that think it's absolute trash. That will happen with PoE. It happens with every game. PoE is not immune to this because it's a great game. You understand? So you're going to have players that don't like the new shit in PoE too. But that's why they've said we will continue to support and update and give new content to PoE 1 for the people that don't like PoE 2. Wow, that's epic. How long will that last? I don't know. Depends on what our feedback and what we feel about PoE 2 is. But the mere fact that they're willing to do that shows a lot. And the other thing is, big standout to me at least, they're letting MTX carry over from PoE 1. So every cent that you've paid in PoE 1, microtransactions, stash tabs, wings, whatever, cosmetics, all of that transfers to PoE 2. They didn't have to do that. They could have told you, no, it's a new game. We've been spending a lot of time on it. You need to spend more money. No. That right there is enough to make me just let them cook. All that being said, there are some complaints that I've been seeing on Reddit. You see it right here. I've seen, Talk of Try did a video covering some of the stuff. A couple other guys have done a video. But some of the complaints, I thought these were a little silly. But let's see, what is it? 3 or 4 standouts? I'm just going to shoot those down real quick. I hope they show the PC requirements for the game, because if it's too crazy, I'm not going to be able to play it, and I'll just stop the hype right now. Okay. It's June. They hadn't even announced the date yet for the beta. For the beta, which they say would be a year long. Okay, Bubba. So it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So you've got 6 months. Let's say the beta comes out in December. You've got 6 months to save some money for an upgrade. If you already own a PC and it's a desktop, you can upgrade pretty easy. Get you a graphics card, get you some RAM. You can get 32 gigs of DDR4 right now, Corsair brand, $75 on Best Buy. There's cheaper brands out there. T-Force, you can get them for like $50. So let's just go ahead and assassinate that right now. If you're going to be like Darkside Phil, DSP Gaming, yes, I do watch Detractor content. It's my guilty pleasure. It's my true trash. If you're going to be like him and hold on to a computer that's running Windows 8, that's 10 years old, and expect brand new game to release and be able to run on that, and because they didn't make it a new game to run on 10-year-old hardware, you're not going to play the game or not going to be hyped. That's on you. 100% on you. Save your money and upgrade your machine. Next, console patches will affect, because they have to go through approval, they will affect the time that it takes. No, stop it. Again, that goes back to, we're looking for arguments to express that we don't want our favorite game to change for everybody else to enjoy. That's what that argument says. Games have been cross-platform for a while. There's always having to be updates. Usually the way that it's handled is PC gets the update about a day early. That's all that the pipeline takes, especially if you have a good relationship, is 1 to 2 days to get an update published. Diablo 4 does it, no problem. GGG can do it, no problem. That's the thing. Y'all, if Diablo 4 is capable of doing it, GGG can do it in their sleep. You understand? There's nothing special that's going on at D4, like cross-platform, that can't be handled way better than this team, period. And you know that's fact. Sorry if it hurts somebody's feelings. Sorry if it's not PC. Sorry if it's not company image friendly. That's the reality. Okay? If y'all don't think Jonathan Rogers can make sure that cross-platform is implemented in the correct way, come on, go touch some grass. Basically, that patch won't affect, if you're a PC player and you're bitching about that, which it's only the PC players that are coming up with that, it ain't going to affect you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So stop with that. It's interesting. I heard on the, if y'all play 7 Days to Die, the Fun Pimps, they're fixing to bring that game 10 years later out of early access. They've been having some developer live streams. And they were talking about that on the last one that they had, was the pipeline to get the approvals, greenlit or whatever the industry term for that is. They said it's not a big deal. Might take 2 days. So, and the Fun Pimps is an even smaller company than GGG. So, null point. And then controller will feel bad. I see that a lot. I don't know if the controller's going to feel bad, so then don't play it. It's an option. It's just like WASD. I don't want to play WASD. Do you hear me complaining about it? That's going to ruin the game? No. Don't play it. Sometimes I feel like it's just projection. They don't want the game to change, so they're going to come up with any kind of thing they can just to trash on it. No. And then the big one is, seen this a lot. I've seen Try talk about it. Some other guys talk about it. Skills will be designed around the console, and it will make everything easier. Okay. So from what I understand, and this is taking the developer's word at it, the game was designed for PC, and they have a console engineering team to port it to console, not the other way around. Some people think that Diablo 4 was console game ported to PC. I can see where you feel that, but Jonathan's been very clear about it. And that other fella, excuse me for being ignorant, not knowing his name, the head of the console team, straight up said, no, we develop a skill, and then they bring it to us and say, make it work. Cool. Now, does that have some concerns also? Sure. But I'm not a console player. If I was a console player, I'd be wondering how those skills are going to feel. But the other way around, I ain't worried about it. Again, just a kind of a null point. They're scared the game's going to be easier. Have y'all seen the skill tree? They gave us a little peek. The skill tree in PoE 2 is bigger than skill tree in PoE 1. The complexity is still going to be there. Will it be easier? Yeah. Why? Because they're giving you almost built-in guides. So explaining what things do. That's not going to necessarily make the overall game too easy. Will it make it easier? Yeah. Too easy? Highly doubt it. It's Path to Exile. So look, facts, the community will fracture. It happens to every single solitary franchise. Some people are going to love the new game. Some people ain't. The developers have given us an option. If you love it, play it. If you don't, play the other game. They're still both free. That's the big thing. They're still both free. But how you got to buy stash tabs? It's $30. If you love the game, support the game. The community will be opinionated. Null point. Everybody knows that. Okay? It's up to the individual player himself and up to the game development team on how these are going to be perceived. That's just it. If the game developer team takes these points that I've made, packages them good, makes them work together, makes the game awesome, then nobody will care. It's just the way that it is. Right now, people are scared. People are scared. They don't know what's going to happen with their game. They don't know if they're going to like it. They don't know what the future is. And anytime the future seems uncertain, makes people feel a little scared. I hope the game's great. I'm concerned about it. I don't want to go through another flop on a game I just came over and fell in love with and have turned into literally a used car salesman for Path to Exile, pushing this to everybody. I don't want it to have a flop thing, but I just don't think that's going to happen. But unfortunately, these are things that happen with a natural evolution of a game, and Path to Exile is no different. So yeah, it will, all of this stuff, it will change the game. But it's up to you whether it's for the positive or negative. And I think time will tell that, yeah, we'll probably see the positives of this. But a lot of it is stuff that just has to happen in modern gaming today. So it is what it is. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Relax. Everything's fine. I think we're in good hands. And if we don't like the game, which I think we will, PoE 1 will still be going. Anyway, time to finish my Ruthless playthrough. Hit like and subscribe for more content. See y'all next time.